Hey everybody, Lear at Learn Defense Industries. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to dive into the rifle caliber selection for your home defense rifle. Okay, so we're going to continue into the caliber wars. If you look here on the left, you have these 5.45. This goes into your AK-74 platforms. You have your 7.62 by 39. This goes into your AK-47 platforms. Here is your 5.56 or 223. You have your 7.62 NATO or 308, and finally we have your 300 Blackout. We're going to dive into each one of these specifically and give you some pluses and minuses on them all. Hang tight. Okay guys, this is the 5.45. This is an extremely popular round in the comm block area. It has been extremely popular in the United States up until a few years ago when the Russian embargo was enacted. The price of this round has skyrocketed ever since, and I think it was best said on another YouTube channel where the glory days of this round are behind us, because we don't think we're going to get the it back to the prices that it was before. So again, this is a 5.45 round. It is generally between a 52 to 57 grain for the heavier side, depending on who makes it. This one is a 54 grain. It has an open tip. It is not for a hollow point. That is not an expanding hollow point on that. It is just the way Russians produced them. It wasn't even intended to make the bullet more aerodynamic or get a better coefficient, but in the end it does. So this is nothing more than just how they machine their bullets. So this is a steel case, and it has a bimetal jacket onto it. So this stuff, you know, you hear about the steel case and bimetal, it'll tear it up real bad. I don't recommend that for your AR unless you're just doing a little bit of plinking and you're going to clean it really well afterwards. But yeah, steel case will wear out your barrel faster, but that's not because of the casing. It's because of the bimetal bullet that going down the bore of your barrel. So this steel is not hard enough to harden your firearm, so it is okay to use. It will not cycle as well as brass, just for the simple fact it always gets bound up in magazines and stuff like that. So for comm block guns that are designed to use steel, use steel. For American guns that are designed to use brass, use brass. Best thing you can say, you will get the best bang for your buck. Again, if you're just grabbing a box of 20 to go out back and go plinking on a Sunday afternoon, that's one thing. But if you're going to go use it for actual training or for a class or anything like that, get the correct ammo for your gun. Anyways, back to this bullet. This bullet is a 54 grain projectile, and it's really, really long. The projectile on it is a little bit longer than, the 5.56 one. It does have a tendency to ricochet when it's being shot around. You always hear the military guys when they're in the stack saying, stay a meter off the wall. That's because bullets tend to ricochet down the wall. And if you hit the wall when you're walking down, people inside will know you're in there. So this bullet right here is one of the most devastating bullets on the market. It just devastates flesh when it hits it. But it is very easily deflected in light brush or anything along those lines. Very susceptible to glass. So just so you are aware, that is some of the drawbacks to the 5.45. Okay, this is the 7.62 by 39. This is the AK-47's caliber bullet this shoots. This is also fired through the SKS, which is what it originally was introduced into. Made a very well and very good transition to the AK-47, and it has been fighting very hard ever since. If you notice on this bullet, it has a extreme taper on the case, and you'll really see that when you see an AK-47's magazine, how it has that big banana curl to it. That's why, because this case, the way that it's tapered out, that's just how it has to stack in the magazines. The plus side of that is the reliability of feeding on this is so much better than anything else because it's easier to extract because of that taper. This is a 123 grain bullet in this, and again, this is an open tip. Again, not a hollow point, just an open tip for the way it's designed. It is steel cased bimetal bullet. Just like we discussed previously, it will wear out your barrels a lot faster. So What are the advantages of the 7.62 by 39? It's absolutely devastating. Inside of 200 meters, this round hits harder than anything else that you can run in that small of a gun. It's really good. It's extremely devastating. It will do your job that you need it to. Don't shy away from this. The price point on this is really, really low, and it fluctuates a lot. There are tons of 7.62 out there, so don't turn away from it. The nice thing about the comm block guns is you can run these cheaper ammunitions like this for practice, for training. You can even use them in self-defense. They will do the job. When you look at the 7.62 by 39 and its little counterpart, the 5.45, the biggest problem with these two types of bullets is there's not a good self-defense loading for either of these two on the market available right now. Some of them are starting to get into it, but most of people that know that buy this stuff just end up buying this stuff anyway, so they kind of stick away from the self-defense loading. And this stuff does good enough, but there's nothing really great out there for it, like there are for the the 5.56 guns. So if that's a concern for you, then I would stick away from this stuff. If it's not, these are two really, really good bullets, and you won't go wrong with either of them. Okay, this is the 5.56/223 bullet. This is a 55 grain projectile in a casing, a brass casing. This is not a bimetal, so this is a brass case. This is the original bullet that was designed for the M16 series rifles, CAR-15s, all those wonderful ARs that you're out there running now. This is what you want to shoot. Okay, if you only have enough money to go out and buy the same practice ammo as you do the home defense ammo, if you go out and you buy 100 rounds and it's going to be a couple days before you get to the range, you can use this stuff as your home defense. Okay, there is nothing wrong with the 5.56 with the 55 grain projectile in it. You don't need a special hollow point. The way that the rifles wound, it's absolutely what you need. You don't need to go out and buy and spend all that extra money on that other stuff. Now, will that the 64 grain Spear gold dots work better than this? Yeah, they will work a little bit better. Is it enough to where I have to save up all the money or I can't get them? No, you start with this, work your way up. Like we always teach. Get the basics, work your way up. This is the basic, and you can run this as long as you want. You don't even have to ever switch from this stuff. This stuff will do whatever you wanted it to do when it hits the target. It's not going to fail. The 55 grain is the M193. It's an older design, and it still works to this day. The only problem with the 193 is if you have a heavy twist in your barrel rates, such as like the 1 in 7s, and you try to stretch it out there, past 300 yards, you're going to have some tumbling problems where the bullet's not going to stay stabilized in flight because you've overstabilized it in the twist. So just something to be aware of. This bullet ranges in weights anywhere from, like I said, the 55 grain projectile is your most common, all the way up to 77 grains. Okay, you have the 62 grain, which will be your green tip ammunition. This stuff is junk. Stay away from it. If you use it at the plink or to go take some sort of class or something like that, it'll do the job. But other than that, stay away from it. It's not a good home defense round. It's not even a good military round. The military has hated it ever since its inception. They've been trying to get rid of it, and they finally are on their way of working it out of the way of the inventory. If you can find one of the enhanced rounds, the M855A1s, not enough is really known about that in the civilian market yet to make a go out of it. So, but just know that it's out there. But for this bullet, I recommend sticking with the 55 grains. Unless you got the money, then you can jump up to that 64 grain Spirit Gold Dots, or even the 70s and the 75 and the 77 grains. Those are really, really good bullets. If you have the heavier twist, those are phenomenal. If you have a lighter twist, stay away from them. Those 77 grains, they're a big old beefy pill, and they almost negates going to some of the bigger calibers just because they're so coefficient is so high, and they just do a phenomenal job. But this is a good round to pick. Okay, this is the 7.62 NATO, or in America, as we like to call it, 308. Okay, there is a slight difference between the two calibers. Basically, you can fire a 7.62 and a 308, but you can't fire a 308 and a 7.62. No, it's backwards from the military to civilian aspect of the 223 and 5.56, but they're basically the same. And for this intended purposes, what we're going to talk about them together. So this is, again, like I said, the 308. It is a brass cased. Its projectiles range from 125 grains to about 220. Actually, probably all the way down to 110 grains now. So 110 to about 220 for the bullets. This is a battle rifle cartridge. Okay, it was designed to be inside of battle rifles, not assault rifles. Okay, it is a big, beefy cartridge. You will have a lot of kick, and if you can't handle that, then stay away from this. This generally, in modern days, goes in the AR-10s and your FALs and stuff like that. This cartridge kind of struggles in, some of the AR-10s. If the G2s are really coming a long way, but the AR-10 is nowhere near as refined as the AR-15. This projectile here is 168 grain, and it is, like I said, it's big, it's beefy. It does what I want it to at range. If I'm going to go in the house with it, which this is not my preferred choice, but if you do go with the AR-10 and you go with for home protection, inside the house, I would use a lighter bullet. Okay, stick around the 125s. I wouldn't go any heavier than the all copper 130s. Just for the simple fact that this will stabilize and will continue to go through a person. And now you're talking about overpenetration. You're actually getting into that area of overpenetration. And to prevent that, you want to get a good self-defense load in this stuff. What I recommend is something that expands really, really quickly. This, the self-defense loads, or even if you go out and you buy 150 grained soft points, those will do the job that you need them to. As long as they feed inside your rifle, you're good to go. If you want to use it to reach out and touch somebody, the 168s, the 175s are your way to go in the 308s. Going heavier than that in the 308, you're going to have problems. And be prepared to run subsonic. So, just something to think about. Again, good round. Will do everything you need it to. Okay, this is the newest cartridge of all the ones that I've chosen to show you guys. This is the 300 Blackout. This is the latest and most coolest guy round out there right now. If you find anybody that's anybody and they're shooting 300 Blackout, and if you're not shooting 300 Blackout, well, then you're not cool enough. Alright, now that we got that out of the way. This is, again, the 300 Blackout. This is a 308 bullet on top of a 5.56 casing cut down. It's actually a fun little round to shoot. I actually enjoy making these. If you're a reloader, you're going to love this bullet, because you can take your 308 bullets, your 30-06 bullets, your 300 Win Mag bullets, and you can fit them into a cut down 5.56 casing. Or 223 casing. It's not that hard to do them, but it works, and it's fun, and it's a nice little devastating round at closer ranges. This is this bullet has a 150 grain projectile on top of the cut down 5.56 casing. This is a Fiocchi, and that's just their common cheaper rounds. Other ones you'll see is 147 grain, just because that's the military's cheaper bullet that they've been producing forever and ever. It ranges in bullet weights all the way from 110, 115, 125s, all the way up to the 230s, 240s, where they run subsonic and they're all lead, and those ones are designed for specifically to run subsonic. If you want to run supersonic, stick to the lighter weights, 110s. Don't go above 150. 150, you're really struggling to stay supersonic. But these rounds, they punch mean little holes. Again, you're not going to get 308 performance out of this bullet. So if you're thinking about it, forget it. What you will get out of this is 7.62 by 39 performance. If you drop down to a 125 grain, you're going to get generally the same ballistics as you did out of the 7.62 by 39. These two bullets are extremely close to each other, ballistic-wise, especially within 200 meters. Outside of 200 meters, the bigger case capacity of the 7.62x39 gives it a distinct advantage. Now, I mean, again, we're talking self-defense situations and scenarios, and not too many of my viewers probably have a home that is 200 plus yards long. If you do, that's pretty cool. Congrats to you. But most of us who, our average home distance is going to be at best 20 yards, then, the 7.62x39, it does well enough, but we got the 300 Blackout. 300 Blackout has the distinct advantage of having the exact same ballistics and the better ergonomics of the AR-15 over the AK-47. Now, am I saying that this is the end-all be-all, that everybody should have this? No. I mean, there's no point in going out and spending this if you have this. Okay? This, with a 77 grain projectile, will do everything that this will do. Okay? It's just the evolution of the way the rounds worked. So, is the 300 Blackout pretty cool? Yeah. Does it have a niche? Yeah. Running subs? It's really cool. Or if you want to run supersonics and you have the lighter loads, you can get that 7.62x39 performance with an AR-15 platform. So, stick to, we'll do a wrap-up out of all this. Alright, here we are doing the wrap-up of the great caliber war debate for home defense rifles. Home defense rifles, as we see, we have a multiple plethora of cartridges to pick from. There's a lot of other ones that you could probably use in here. The 277 Wolverines gaining track, the 6.5 Grendel, the 6.8 SPC. I don't have any of those rounds because I haven't found a niche for them or a purpose yet for them. So, if that's what you want, go ahead and get it. Make sure that it's a good home defense round that you get for them and that they do their job. Guys, this is just a brief overview of it. What you really want in a self-defense rifle round is a round that does really, really well when it hits flesh and doesn't over-penetrate. Some of these, like the 5.56 in the green tip, or the 308 in the 175s, they're going to overstabilize at this distance of home defense range. I would stay away from those. Unless you've got a really soft tip point on them, stay away from them. The hollow points, the 55 grains are great for the 5.56, but just understand that if it doesn't tumble when it hits the target, you've lost your energy, so the bullet's a waste. It doesn't have to open up and expand like a hollow point does in a handgun caliber, but you want it to tumble. When it tumbles, it's absolutely devastating in the target, and that's what you want. You want all the energy that is going down range toward the intended target to stay in that intended target, and as very little to over-penetrate as possible. So, hope you guys learned something new today. Give us a like, share, thumbs up, subscribe, and thanks for watching the Great Caliber Debate Rifle Edition.